good to have happiness whether the sun is up or it's down. It's good to have happiness and make the world go round and around. It's good to have happiness whether the sun is up or it's down. It's good to have happiness and make the world go round and around. We must be careful not to let life pass us by. Enjoy the simplicity of life now. Let it go. You know the things that get you down. Let it go, or you will go round and around. Cause life is good. It's not what you get, but what you can make it. Life is good. Life is good. It's not what you get, but what you can make it. Life is good. It's good to have happiness whenever sun is up or it's down. Said it's good, 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 good. Said it's good. Oh, said it's good, 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 good. Oh, it's good to have happiness. Said it's good, yeah. Said it's good, yeah. There is no
Welcome, welcome. How is everybody doing on this evening? Blessed, I pray. We are here tonight. We have a great topic and show for you all tonight. We will have our Miss Mink joining us in a minute. Also, our other co-host, Fast Lane, he will be here shortly. But right now, we are going to sit back, relax, and call in. Tune in, join in. 515-599-1687. We have a great show for you all tonight. And we want you all to call in and ask questions. All right,
Yes,
what's
good
going on, Miss
evening,
Mink? How
everyone.
are
How is
you?
everybody doing? It is truly a pleasure and an honor to have you both in the studio.
Thank you.
Even though I'm not there, you're there in good hands with my two co-hosts, Miss Kiwi and Sir Fastlane. He'll be in shortly.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
we just really are honored to have you all in the studio
Thank
so
you.
that we can get to know who the Johnsons are.
Thank you.
And Sir Arthur and his life's journey and all the exciting things that you all have done together, because you all are a partnership.
Yes.
And I know that you all tag team this together.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited to hear about this. And hey, our mission at with Why Not Say It is we want to bridge the gap between our youth and our season. There is so much going on in the world now, and I think that the more positivity that we can bring into the light of our youth, the better. And so that's what our mission is, to help bring that light, help re-motivate our youth, help knowledge our youth gain some more knowledge. Hopefully they're listening. We know that a lot of them are, but we want to reach the multitude.
Yes, yes. And we also want you to kind of tell us some of the things that was challenging to you on your journey, so that people can see that it wasn't just maybe a piece of cake, or it might not have been just handed to you, but what are some of the things that really challenged you that might have made you want to give up? And then tell us what made you keep pushing on. So right now, for those who don't know and those who do know, we're going to introduce Mr. Arthur Johnson and his beautiful wife, Mrs. Johnson, Flash, correct?
Thank you. Yes,
all right
yes,
now,
yes,
okay.
Yes, so my name is, what I'm known by is Arthur Flash Johnson. It's kind of a long story how Flash kind of got in the mix of that. But I'm known for being a boxer. I was on the Olympic boxing team in 1988.
Okay.
From there, before then, I had set many records as a boxer, as an amateur boxer. I set records that were never broken. And it was just about, I would say, about a century in making. And when I say a century, I mean 99 years actually before somebody who came on the scene at my weight class could do the things that I did athletically in boxing.
Okay.
And so it's been a wonderful ride of memories, I would say. Boxing basically has became a platform where I used it for many of things, and it really helped to shape and mold my life. Really, I
Okay.
mean, where we are right now. My beautiful wife and I, everyone calls her Mrs. Flash, but
All right
she'll
now.
say, but she has a very humble approach about it, and
Okay.
and I would like to think that I have too. Uh, we've what we built together with our foundation, the Arthur Johnson Foundation, has been very huge, humongous. In fact, we are building a center
Okay.
in the city of East St. Louis.
All right now.
That's going to be 9,000 square feet, which
That's a
the ground
blessing.
should be breaking on it any minute now.
Okay.
And that's a long process, but it's a process that we've handled together. And I just say, I mean, with her, she's the best.
All
And I
right.
just think that that we together are just a team, a force,
All
pretty much to
right.
be reckoned with.
All right.
So,
So can you tell us how long have you all been together if you don't mind me asking?
oh, sure, 36 years.
That's a
Ooh,
blessing.
that's a
That's a
36
blessing.
years.
blessing. All right
Yeah,
now.
36 years we've been together. But we dated for how long? Maybe what?
Maybe about a year and a half.
A year and a
We
half.
dated for about a
Okay.
year and a half. I
Uh,
knew that. She was the one.
All right now. All right.
That is amazing. It is amazing because it's
Yes.
so hard to marriage is a challenge.
It
I'm
is.
married,
It is.
and it is a challenge to, stay together. But
Mhm.
when you find that one, that's your motivation to want to stay together. And you all are a team.
Right.
I
Right.
can just basically tell that. And even with speaking to Mr. Flash, Arthur Flash,
Uh-huh.
he was telling me, he said, hey, let me check with my wife. I
Mhm.
All
gotta
right
make
now.
sure that her dates and my dates coincide, or we don't have something that's going on. And that's what it takes,
Yeah.
that partnership. So
Yes.
that's really beautiful.
Right. Right.
Yes,
Well,
teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So, tell us how long you say you started. What age did you start really in the boxing?
Well, I started boxing at age 12. I was
12.
I was 12
Okay.
years old. I would have been 12, and man, what a long career. Two gentlemen by the name of James Hooks and Benjamin Stiff were two kids who boxed at some point in their careers, and they passed it on. And so I just happened to be, in the mix when they started a boxing program.
Okay.
I lived in the projects. There were a couple of set of projects over there by the area that I grew up in East St. Louis. One is called the John Robinson, the other is called the Johnny Shields, and so they kind of merged together, and we were brought together and to a little venue that they had there, where most folks came to pay their rent and things of that nature. But so we met there. That's where the boxing program began. And we were together for about maybe a year and a half before we went into a bigger stable of boxers.
Okay.
And then from there, my goodness, it just kind of, took off. It wasn't an overnight thing. The process is, the process. That's what I tell kids today. Now that I teach the sport of boxing through the foundation, that if you trust the process, and that's the key thing with a lot of these young folks, the patience, really
Mm-hmm.
has to be there to be able to trust the process. But when they get into it, I think the first thing that I try to do is, I let them understand, try and make them understand that it's not an overnight thing. 'Cause
Success.
they,
Right.
they watch this stuff on TV. I mean, I've done this stuff for real, so I've done it at every level. So I've
Okay.
done it from the Olympic standpoint. I've done it from the World Championship standpoint, whether it was on HBO or Showtime or whatever,
Okay.
that
Okay.
that was going at the time. And so, a lot of it is the fact that, and I'm glad that they can go out here and look me up. They can just say Arthur Flash. Who's Arthur Flash Johnson? Ask your phone. And sometimes I've had to say that to a few of the kids. And the funny thing is too is that a lot of times they don't find out who I really am until like later on, because I never make that, you know, a priority. This is who I am. This is who I be.
Right,
I
right.
think you gotta you have to have a love for what it is that you do.
Exactly.
And that's what I have, basically a love for what I do. But when they do find out, they're like, "Wow, man."
Okay.
You know.
Okay. So let me ask you, Miss Johnson. You know, being a wife of a boxer, you know, did you worry a lot as far as, you know, the safety of it? You know, I know that had to be kind of intensing for you every time he maybe got in the ring.
Right. It was nerve-wracking.
Was it?
I think what helped me is going to the gym.
Okay.
And watching him train.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it was like, okay, I see he put in the work. So it was more like, okay, now you got to get in there and execute what you've done in the gym. So it made it a little bit easier. I still had the butterflies.
Okay.
And it was like every 3-minute round I wasn't breathing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Until the bell rung. And
Okay.
then, you know, when he would go to the corner and get, you know, they douse him with water and stuff, it's like when I can, like, okay.
Kind of take that
and,
breath.
you know,
Okay.
and when the bell rung again, it was like I was right back into the action with them. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So that had to be, it was, I guess you would say that was amazing, but also a scary feeling at the same time.
Yeah.
But we
It was very intense.
Intense.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. Well,
Very.
we want to welcome
Very
in
intense.
our other co-host. This is Fast Lane. This is Arthur Johnson and his beautiful wife, Mrs. Johnson. And they're just kind of telling us about their journey and, you know, some of the accomplishments that, you know, he have went through and done and stuff like that. So that's where we're at.
Pleasure to have
Well, I would say, let me say this: my former manager, and I know if you know anything about boxing, he was probably the top, definitely ranked among the top 5 managers ever in the history of the game. His name is Angelo Dundee. So Angelo Dundee.
Yes.
So Angelo Dundee was Muhammad Ali's manager.
Okay.
Need I say more?
More, exactly.
So he trusted her with, you know, Angelo would look to my wife whenever I was fighting in a big fight and say, tell him to do this, because when you're in a big stadium of thousands of people, you lock in to a vocal.
Okay.
That may sound a little weird, but it's like tunnel vision. You lock into a vocal, and with all those thousands of people that's cheering, you can lock into that one vocal, and you hear that one vocal over thousands of people.
Okay.
And it sounds weird, but it's true.
Okay.
I mean, I know that because I experienced that. So he would lock into her and say, tell him to do this, tell him to do this. And she'd be on the outside of the ring yelling, you know, in instructions to me. So I've watched her do that. She's, to me, I've always thought my wife enjoyed, you know, the excitement of it. I mean, she's the type of woman that when we were young would get on the Screaming Eagle several times.
Okay. Okay.
I can't ride it once.
Okay. That's good. That's a
So
blessing.
can you guys tell us from you all's aspect that boxing experience? And I know that you just stated that you worked with, you know, Muhammad Ali's trainer,
Yes.
which is really big. Yeah. So hey, that is in an upper echelon. And then she was the one that he relied on to help you through it. So
Right,
you know,
exactly.
tell us about that journey.
Yeah, well, the journey was what it was. I mean, not only that, but I worked under Don King. Everybody knows who that is. Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Don King was, you know, really, you know, he's just Don King. I mean, there are a lot of names. There are a lot of names that people, you know, have for Don King. But we worked under that promotion, and just a lot of experience. Too much to talk about, actually.
Right.
And so, I mean, I'll gauge it from the point of the fact that, you know, I had perhaps 14 or 15. Half of my bouts were championship bouts.
Okay.
At a high level.
Okay.
And so my record if I give you my record as an amateur first, I always like to soften you up. So my record as an amateur, I had it's recorded as 175 wins versus about 25 losses. And then as a pro, I was 22 wins versus 6 losses, and 4 of them questionable. Okay. So when you go into somebody's hometown and you come out of there with a majority decision loss or split decision loss, you know you won the fight.
That's right, absolutely.
But coming from that perspective, and just so many things, man, that comes to my mind when I think about this boxing. We're talking about the road that's been taken, being on the road. I spent a lot of time, so much time away from her.
Okay.
And, my kids. And so, they grew up, basically they grew up being around the Angelo Dondees, the Don Kings, Evander Holyfield. They grew up, that's their life. There's no... that was no, it was just like an everyday thing, for them because I was around it, and so whenever we would, have those big events, the kids were always involved and they was always around it, and to this day, I think they're big fans. What do you think? I think they're big boxing fans.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to be boxing
anyway,
fans.
The two youngest ones are my daughter and son.
Our two youngest is boxing fans. Arthur Jr., who's actually a musician who actually produced this song that we're talking about tonight. Happiness. He actually produced it. And then my oldest daughter actually is in. She works with us, but she's also in the medical field. But she also works with us with the foundation. And of course, my middle kid is the chief inspector of all the prisons in the state of Illinois.
All right.
So she looks very small, but she carries a big wallet.
All right now. Okay.
Okay, so I know that you had mentioned in reference to we're gonna get to the song because I heard the song, during the beginning of the show and really liked it. So we want to hear about what motivated and drove you with that song. But before that, you were talking about the foundation that you all have created. Yes. Can you tell us a little bit more about the foundation and what was the driver and the goal behind the foundation?
Sure, absolutely. I'll start it off and I'll let my wife come in because she runs the administrative. She's the administrative queen behind the whole thing. We started this thing in 2001. 2001 was when we did our very first event. We hosted our annual boxing, the annual Arthur Johnson Boxing Invitational, and then ever since then we've done it for many years now. So we've gotten a reputation not just here but across the country, across the globe, for having to do this event. It's an amateur event where many amateur boxers come in, and in fact, we just had the event on Saturday, this past Saturday. So it was great. We had some of our own kids, participating in it. So we started the boxing aspect of it, and then we added after school stuff like learning and for kids who struggle with certain subjects in school, and so we use that boxing as a platform to help at-risk youth. And that was mainly the goal. I always had that whenever I was going to be done with boxing, that I was going to go into the foundation. In fact, I started the foundation in 2001. I retired from boxing in 2003. So I knew that I wanted to make connections to key folks that would be able to help and assist me with the foundation and everything that we were doing. We've done over the time past, scholarships and things of that nature for kids graduating high school, seniors and things of that nature. That's another thing that we've done that's involved, with our foundation. And we continue to, push it forward with enlarging things. God has definitely enlarged our territory, where we have about, would you say that's
close to 30 kids?
Yeah, we have about close to 30 kids or more in the event. We have about 30 of them, possibly close to 30 of them that are registered. So you have to be registered to do that, and that registration can be, can hit parents at, it can hit their pockets. Yeah, it can be expensive, but we work very hard to get sponsors.
Okay.
So we worked very hard to get sponsors where we had like, man, I think about more than half, like 20 some of those kids were sponsored.
Okay.
So,
okay.
And so that's another thing that, that our foundation does. Is that we go out and we do events, we create, avenues to support this. But if you really looked at this is what we don't do, because we know that God has called us to this thing. What we don't do is we don't look at the cost so much and let that be something that
deter you or
right,
push you
cause
away.
us to draw back.
Okay.
Because if we did that, we would not be where we are.
Okay.
We would not be having a 9,000 square foot center built. We would not be going to the next level with some of the folks that we're working with right now currently. And so we don't. I think when God demands that that you show that faith if He's called you to do something. I think you can't just go through something haphazardly, or half doing it from a half tail perspective, and saying, it's just because it's $500. I don't think we're going to be able to get the kids. We've gotten quite a few kids. Now we're getting people who will step forward and say, what kid needs to be sponsored? What kid?
I was going to ask that too.
Yeah. So if we just lived in that, because when we take them on the road and we take them on a lot of these kids, when we take them on the road, this is their first time ever flying.
Okay.
This is their first time ever living at a hotel. This is their first time ever doing, doing this. I mean, I mean, my heart is overwhelmed. And I'm excited about what God is doing, and He's doing even more. But I'm gonna yield the floor to my wife because she's the day-to-day operation individual, and we have a staff of about 4 or 5 of us, and that's gonna grow. It's in the process of doing that now. But she has to make sure that everybody's getting paid. And
so she oversee everything.
She's oversees.
Yeah, he put me to work.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about your position and how.
So
tell about your background first. Your background.
Yeah. So formerly I worked for the Federal Reserve Bank here in St. Louis for 16 years.
Okay.
And so I just recently retired from there. And so, but I've been with the foundation since 2001. Okay. So I've been on board doing everything that needs to be done, any kind of fundraising activities, things of that nature. Also doing fundraising to raise the monies for youth, because some of the kids that's coming in, they're single family homes where maybe the mom is the only one there, or some is the father is only there. And the boxing is an outlet for most of them because they're having troubles in school. Some of them been kicked out of school. We have one now that is, they had to get in a program or they could go to jail.
Okay.
So the boxing has been, to me, I think, a godsend for the community.
Okay.
It gives our kids some type of leadership. And we value them. We just don't, they don't just come in there and goof off and stuff. They have Arthur there. They have our other coach there. Okay. And they have that father figure that most of them need because some of the fathers are not in the home. So that, it even motivates me to say, okay, how do I help improve our programming? Where do I find the money? So, I go in.
Right.
Okay.
And sometimes I get a email saying, hey, we got XYZ.
All right,
you need to do this. I'm like, okay, well, let me go ahead and do that. And, revenues or funds come in, that way. We've been at our building now for
since 18, 16?
Since 2018. We bought it in 2015, and they was getting ready to tear it down and take the brick. You know, most brick buildings, that's what they do. They, demolish them and take the bricks.
Take the brick.
But we were able to get the building, gutted it. I mean, we gutted it. Yeah. It was just 4 walls.
All right now.
And so people will come in and be like, "What y'all gonna do? What y'all?" People. You have people that they're just waiting.
Everybody don't see the
failure
until it actually there and up and running.
Yeah, and so we got some of the kids in the area that wasn't doing anything. They stopped doing like, "Can we help you guys?" It was like, "Yeah, came in and help us clean it out."
Get them involved.
Exactly. And once everything got done and we got open, it was like God's hand was on it, it just took off.
So how did that make you all feel? Like, to see that big accomplishment, that God actually gave to you all, and you had the vision and it took off. How did that make you all feel?
It was, I want to say, it was a godsend in itself, but it was more that this is what I said I was going to do, and then you see it. Sometimes it's like, we had to step out. We had to okay, I'm working, and and I'm working a job, and then I got to be over here too, and then you got to look like, okay, now I got a building, I got a home, I got a house, I got a mortgage, I got, the thing with the building is we went in there free.
Okay.
We bought it right off the bat, so we had no mortgage and all of that, so that was the godsend in that piece.
All right, congratulations on that.
And so it was like, okay, now God, you got to give me ideas on how we're going to raise monies and, things of this nature, and he did. He gave us the ideas how to raise the monies. We have some sustaining donors that be like, I want to give to you guys every month to make sure your lights stay on and things of this nature. So those were the things that, when you feel like, how will I do this? And God said, I got you.
All right. Yes.
And that was the
and
thing.
You could tell that faith to know that he got you.
Right. He's like, I got you. And it's, and so we just walked it out. We just walked it out. And when COVID hit, it didn't, a lot of small non-for-profits, boom, that was it. It knocked them out. They wasn't able to recover and come back.
Right.
But we were able to recover and come back. And then at the same time, we were able to do the, what is it? The, the little packets they give you.
Gift. We were able to
I can't even think of the name of it. But, during COVID, they gave out like little safety packet things. So we was able to do that and give them a gift card. All at the same time, for the community. And it wasn't just for our kids, but it was for the community. And so those were the things that really, I think, helped us to keep the faith, to keep walking. And then after that was like doors start opening to like, hey, we got funding over here. We want to be able to help you. Can you do this application? It was like, okay. And that right there got us to the next level. And then somebody else step up and say, hey, we got funding over here for this. Or, I want to put you over here in contact with this person to help with, grant writing. I knew how to do some grant writing, but not a whole lot. But with the help just a little bit, I was able to get other funding and other funding and stuff like that. So
gotta put who you need in your place.
And I want to intervene. And I remember sitting one day, and I think, I don't know. So one of the biggest calls I got, as far as us moving toward the building, because the building. I mean, how many of you believe that you got to speak that stuff into existence?
Oh yes.
Your tongue is the most powerful thing on your body. You can speak life
you gotta
and
speak
death.
that. So I've been speaking this forever. One day I'm sitting at the office and I get a phone call, and Senator Belt calls me and says, "We're gonna give you and I didn't hear him right. First of all, I thought he said 5,000. We're gonna give you five to that building that you to your to the goal of the building, because we had been talking about the goal of the building. We had designed up. We had it all. Faith was working.
All
Faith
right
worked.
now.
Faith
Okay.
did his part. And then he said five. I say five. I said I really appreciate this 5,000. He said no, it ain't 5,000. It's $500,000.
Ooh.
So I said
Yes.
how did I confuse 5,000?
That's
with
what-
You just heard the 5.
Right.
And so that just, that started things just, started the ball rolling. And, when I came away from the sport, of boxing, I didn't know that I had a pension that was waiting for me. I had one of my buddies called me and said, hey, man, go out there and get your pension because your name is out there. And it just steamrolled into so much, that from the pension to the grants. And so we find ourselves, I'm believing God's word, what he told me. He said, you'll never lack again, neither will scarcely be a friend. And so when I think about that, I look at, that's word, that's Deuteronomy chapter 8. And I believe it's verse 9, I believe. So he said, you'll never lack again, neither will scarcely be a friend. So it was chapter 8, verse 8 and 9. So I never forgot that stayed, in the forefront of things. And, it's been a tremendous blessing. It's another lifestyle, basically. Okay. God's given us a different lifestyle. But we know what it's like to lack, though. Okay. We know what it's like to definitely be short, on the short end of the stick. So we...
And I think God, he looks at your heart. Sometimes, when you're going to do things, you can have all the money in the world.
Yeah.
That's right.
And still, what are you doing? Are you doing something to help somebody else?
Exactly.
Or is it just all about you?
Exactly.
So, and it's always been about, with me and him, we've always had that idea of helping somebody else.
That's why.
And that's doing God's work. When you do help others, that's a part of doing God's work. And that's also, in Deuteronomy, in reference to the works that you do, is what it is that you reap as far as your blessings. Yes. So yes, that's most definitely, that's a part of it.
Yes,
absolutely.
So tell us, how did you incorporate music? What made you start, getting into music?
Again, as I said earlier, I'm known for boxing, not so much of the music, but recently the music has picked up a lot, where I've got 500,000 streams on songs and things of that nature. I was singing before I was ever boxing.
Okay.
Like I said, a lot of my kids, even from the boxing, they don't really know who I am until after they're gone out. Like, they have no idea that I'm 3-time, 4-time world champion, all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's for the love of it. It was never for fame. Boxing was a whole different story, though. But the music was never for the fame thing. I connected with a guy by the name of Willie Jones, who still manages me to this day, who's done a lot of musical stuff, and we got like millions of streams of a song. I think "Sunshine with the Rain" is one of our top songs. But music itself for me has been a great love before boxing. I think I wrote my first song when I was about 8 or 9 years old.
Okay.
And I wrote my first song there, and since then, I've done other music along the way. Like, whenever I would, how the boxers come out on music, I would come out on my own song, and people would be like,
"That's right, that's right,
that's his own stuff." But I don't think I was, in it as deep as much as I wanted to be. Maybe God protected me from that. I heard a lot of stories about music. I got a lot of friends that can tell me stories about music. I've done a great deal of music. Anytime my wife tells me that, hey, baby, you got your feet wet in it, you really got deep into it, and anytime she says something like that, I definitely think that I've given it, a good run as far as music is concerned. But anyway, music has always been a great love for me. I mean, when I was on the road with boxing, I would make up songs, sing songs, and first one thing and the other as that goes. And I've got music out there now. One of the from my first project, I was known as Flash Johnson, and then from there I went from Flash Johnson to Arthur Anthony, thinking that would help me get more streams, more people, because I was using my real name. Nobody knows who Arthur Anthony is, even though that's my real name. That's my real name. So I changed it back to Flash recently when I got hooked up with my manager, Willie Jones. I think Willie probably been managing me now for 3-4 years, somewhere in that vicinity.
Okay.
But that's that's been the thing now. I just changed it to my real name, which is Arthur Flash Johnson. So we took off from there. But this song here basically encompassed vocals by my wife, which she's a featured.
I was going. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, she features on it, and my son Arthur Jr., who is a musician at heart and who travels all over the world doing this. And so I just think, and I think I was telling you about this, right, Michelle, that I don't think this song is going to get 1 million streams. I think it's going to get 1 billion streams.
All right, you got to speak it as it is.
It is such a message in the song.
Okay.
The title of the song is called Happiness. Wow. And in order for me to actually do this song, this is what I think. I think God was requiring me to be happy when I did the song.
All right, now.
So that people could actually feel the anointing from the song. That it would be effective, because you could sing something and not really be into it.
Exactly.
Artists do it all the time.
Exactly.
That they're not even into what they're singing. They're just doing it for the money, the fame, whatever it is, whatever. But I don't think I have a crazy love for the world like that. And I don't mean to go churchy on you, but that's just who I am. But I think that I wanted to relate to everyone who ever hear this song, that you are responsible for your happiness in a lot of ways. You really are. It's not what people can do for you. It's not your job. It's not, you make a choice. We make a conscious choice. I know I went deep when I said you are responsible, but you make a conscious choice to be happy. And of course, and if I were to be all honest, I would say, God, is, you want that to be the main basis for your happiness. That you have life, that you have the necessities of life, those sorts of things, that God provides that, and He provides that for us.
Exactly.
Health and just family, love, those sorts of things that you can't buy. So when you listen to the song Happiness, I hope that it meets everyone where they are, because it's a type of song that, like I said, I really actually had to be happy when I sung the song. It didn't come out. I mean, we tried it in LA.
We went to visit my son for Christmas. And he was like, "Oh, we're gonna record the song when we get there." And they're like, "Okay." And my son, he was excited, set up the studio time for us and all of that stuff. And it just did not happen.
It did not happen.
The music was off the chain. My son did an awesome job. We listened to it at the house. I was like, "Hey, this is nice." I kept telling him, "Stop practicing. Right. Why are you practicing all the time? Just leave it alone. When it's time to sing it, we'll sing it."
Okay.
And when it was time to sing it, it was like, I don't want to say, I don't feel like singing that. it was like no kind of enthusiasm or nothing was going on. And it was like, and like he said, the song, you have to have this vibe going. So when you hear it, you like, yeah. And it wasn't like that. And it was like the studio time, everything was like scratch.
Right.
No, it's not gonna happen.
That's because that title, happiness, that's a lot of energy.
Yes.
And it's a good energy.
Yes.
So you gotta have that feeling to produce that. Because people will feel that. They'll be like, wait a minute, their energy ain't really there. They saying a lot of good stuff, but they don't seem like they happy.
Right. Exactly. And that's how it was. It was like, we was like, okay, we just gonna this is, you know, we just scratched it.
And can I go back for just take a step back a minute on the song Happiness? I wrote this song over a decade ago.
Okay.
I wrote it over a decade ago, and you know, it took a lot of turns. My son, who is, you know, a genius, I think, in music, he knew that I love music, and he says, "Dad, I know that you're particular on things." So when I heard the song, I heard all these sounds. So when you hear the song, you know what gives you that best vibe is when you put those earphones on. So you can hear you can hear congos, you can hear violin, you can just hear it all, and it just makes a world of difference how all this stuff comes together. And he said, so I did that, Dad, because I knew that you are really, in his words, you know, basically a music buff, and I know that you want to do things in excellence and first one thing and the other. And so we came together and we were excited. Like my wife said, we got there and we just could not. That song could not come together. And I knew the key thing was, as you said, Lord, you know, I'm going to really have to feel this when I'm singing this. And so, you know, after this song, after we had really finished this song, I think it was back in, March, April, somewhere in there, we finally finished the song. But when we finished the song, the producer here who worked with our vocals, he was like, man, you can actually feel the song. You can feel what people, and there's a little part in the song where I do a little laugh, and you can, even in the song that I do, even the part where I do the little laugh at, you can hear that, and you said, man, you just sound, you know, it's just a different sound. People can really feel it, and I think that's going to be the thing that attracts people, which is why I said to you, Michelle, I said, I don't think it's going to get 1 million streams. I think it's going to get 1 billion streams.
All right.
Because I think it meets everybody, you know, where they are. So again, and I came all the way to left and right field on this, right? So music has always been a part, and so this song is special in heart, you know, for a lot of reasons. Number one, like I said, I wrote it over a decade ago, and it's just that kind of song that, you know, it speaks to you. It lets you know that, you know, you're responsible for that happiness, or you're responsible for. I mean, it's not so much this person and that person that you can point and blame at, and I just hope that people really get the message, because if you get the message, I think you're gonna be like me, listening to it over and over and over, and it gives you that strength that you need.
And you know what? I'm a true believer. That's the reason why I liked a lot of the old school music anyway, was because you got more of a message.
Yes.
From, you know, and this is nothing against any of the newer artists or anything like that, but it's just that from a reference of what I like. So I'm gonna say this, and I know a lot of people say, well, you his sister, so that's how you gonna feel. But the one that's sitting right across from you is musically inclined and very talented, and his music, it stands out to me. And, you know, old school, because I know, first and foremost, I know his life. So therefore, I know the messages that are, you know, in his songs is because of things that he's lived and things that have, it's not just make believe or things that you make up and so on and so forth. This is when it is that you've actually lived these, you know, events, then that's when it is, when you're musically inclined and you do music, it comes through. And it can touch people. You know, it does touch people versus a lot of this other stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
They telling the truth about their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's to each his own as far as to what they want to hear. But I myself like music that tells stories, that literally can tell, and you can get to know that person through that music that they're doing.
Man, that is awesomely said. Well said. Yeah. Well said. And let me just say, you know, I enjoy people that have that same love for music, you know, and you know, I am a music buff in a way. Some of this new stuff though, I do get a little lost on it. Gotta admit, I do get a little lost on it, but I do. I love the old school stuff. I'm like you. I love the old school stuff, and I really love to, a real song, a real message in a song. It speaks. It goes deeper than just that song. It's deeper, and you don't have to be a great singer.
Right.
You really don't. If you got a great message, you have to have some skill set, but you don't have to be great, off the wall great. Because some of the greatest songs, I think, were just really resonated with people.
Well, I'm going to speak it out in the atmosphere. Maybe, hey, you and Fastlane maybe could get together and make some music or something. I don't know, but hey, I love great music. So it's always a blessing to be able to meet different people and be able to, interact with, new people, especially genuine people. Because it's just so much going on in the world today, People are skeptical of trying to meet people or, just even get involved with different people. But, if you got that faith, you can do all things,
Right.
So, we really appreciate you all for coming on, taking the time out to come on Why Not Said and enjoy your journey with us. We love that. So we definitely appreciate you all.
It's a blessing to see a power couple. We've been so divided, period. You know what I mean? As man and woman. I ain't even talking about just race. I'm talking about men and women. Yeah. We have been divided, and we don't realize the purpose of our union, the reason why each one plays a major part in each other's life. You know what I'm saying? And like that really, I love to see the strength in between y'all. Even hearing y'all talk, I see the togetherness. Not even getting into nothing personal, but I see it. If you see a one. Right. Instead of two people talking, you see one. Even if she's talking and you're not, I see the togetherness. You know what I mean? And that's a blessing, man.
Powerful.
Because that inspires us. Because when we was coming up, we used to see that a lot.
Yeah,
we did.
And now we're being more taught of division. Yeah, we don't need each other. We don't. And that's not how God made it. Right. Exactly. Yeah, he don't fail. You know what I mean?
He don't make mistakes either.
I really appreciate just even y'all energy. Y'all got a beautiful energy together.
Right. Well, she's been a blessing to me, and for sure. And I know it's vice versa.
Why you say that? I'm just
why she asked, why did you say that?
Yeah, she really has been.
Yes,
she really has been. I mean, whether it's been ministry, whether it's been, because I am a pastor.
Okay.
So whether it's, whatever the situation is, I know she's there, and I thank God for her.
Amen.
Every single day. And
I always tell him he's my every other heartbeat.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, that's sweet.
That's powerful. That is powerful. Yes.
Yes, and you know what? And that's something that guides us because we do, and I think that's something that sets our show out, sometimes is because we do have that power to bring in where it all comes from, because that's where it all started. And hey, we are those true believers, and so we give homage to where homage is due, and it's back to him. It's most definitely back to him, because we're nothing without him. Absolutely. So therefore we give it back all the time in our shows, as far as what it is. And I've gotten feedback, you just don't want to just put it all, in that. Well, you're not going to stop me from talking about who my maker is, because I'm going to let the world know. I have no problem with letting them know who done brought me through things that I didn't think, I knew I wouldn't have been able to make it through. Right. And so, no, nobody can stop me. So I really appreciate that.
You're on the right track, Michelle. Listen, if you're ashamed of him, he'll be ashamed.
You better say that again. Yes.
And no way can I afford to be.
Most people don't know how far you come.
Okay. Don't know your story.
Right.
A lot of people is not even interested in trying to hear other people's story.
Right.
Because a lot of people have become so selfish and so lovers of themselves, but we have to
that's
stop.
What the Bible
says. We in them times where men and women becoming the lovers of themselves.
Yeah. Like he also said, no matter what, you're going to call on them.
Hey,
no matter what you call them, you're going to call on them. Okay. So that means it's going to be a time we're going to be put in situations, and you're going to realize that you didn't pull yourself through.
Right.
A lot of people still in themselves. They thinking they totally in control when you're not, for real. You know what I'm saying? There's certain choices we really don't have. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how much we think we got choice, it's certain choices we really don't have.
Right.
And along this journey, you'll realize that when you can't figure out, you don't know which way to go, and you get pulled through.
Yeah.
And if you're real with yourself, you'll realize, like, hey, I was lost.
I didn't do
know
that.
where to go.
Right.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
I was blessed to get pulled through.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's right.
And
And,
that's
I can just use us as a testimony because it's been about 15, 16 years now since God delivered him from cancer.
All right now.
Ooh,
All right.
amen.
That's
God,
one of them
baby.
things to where when it hit him, it hit me.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
because I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, okay, God, you know, what do I do now? Because when that big C word comes along,
Yes.
it's like everything.
Yeah.
You don't
So-
have no
Right.
nothing. You know, do I still trust you, God? What do I
Exactly.
do? All that is fighting you,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to settle yourself. And I had to settle myself, and I had to say, God, we got one more fight.
So
I
now
know
she's-
that's right.
She's tearing up now because I was given 3 months to live.
Oh,
Wow.
wow.
Look at
But
you,
look at
nigga.
God,
But
baby.
you had a
Look
different
at
doctor
God.
told you something
He's
different.
a glory.
You had a whole other doctor. You know, I was in a situation where they told me I wouldn't walk again. Well, they didn't know when I would walk again.
Okay.
And I told that doctor, you know, like, you're in a position to be part of the process of people healing. You don't heal them. It's another doctor that heal all. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
like, if you're not giving me positive feedback to help me get back on my feet, I don't want to hear your professional theories.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I got a doctor that's telling me you got work to do, son.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
will walk again.
All
So
right.
from that point on, I
Yes.
don't want to hear your iffy. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
you know, like
And
that's
that
how.
was important because we had the same thing. It was like, nope. He turned around and said, you know what, Doc? I think I'm going to trust God for 100.
All right
Yeah.
now.
Right.
Yes, yes.
And that's why he give his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. Because he want us to be them examples, letting the people know. Like, that's what they mean when they talk about those miracles. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, he the one who performing those miracles. The doctors ain't performing miracles.
Right.
Exactly.
He the one giving them the power to just be instruments, part of his process. You know what I'm saying? And like his miracles, like them children that's been pulled through, they the ones that speak. We give life into those that's going through it, life into those that might go through it, life into those that don't know where they going. You know what I'm saying? So I speak on it because like people don't know I've been through hell and back, and when I look back, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm saying it in a good way because I'm thankful he chose me.
That's right.
Because in the process, when I was crying out, and I'm like, I don't know where I'm finna go. I don't know if I can handle this. You must know something in me that I don't know in myself. And I never questioned them until I was put in a situation where I didn't know which way to go. And that's what he wanted, though. He was like, I wanted you to get to the point where you know you can't go nowhere else but to me. That way, when I pull you through, you're going to know it was me who pulled you through. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm thankful, you know what I mean? And it's a blessing to even see you here because you're a walking testimony. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Well, I just, that word comes alive in me. It says, what do you imagine of the Lord? He'll make a other end. The Lord will not allow the affliction to come back twice. And so once he delivered me from it, it went back to where it.
All right now.
So we didn't turn this into a whole service. So.
Oh yeah, baby.
Because he always in the building.
He always.
Normally
Hey,
go
when
for
it
us.
get good.
Always in the building.
That's how it normally go for us. We get into it, and like I say, fast
God
lane.
be
Hey,
the
he get it
glory.
going. We get into it. You don't have the control over when it is that you are going to spread his message, especially if you are a faithful one and you are a believer. Hey, it comes. It'll come naturally, and you'll just say it just goes. It just
It
goes.
really
You
does.
can't turn it off.
Praise
It
God.
really does.
That's why he said, come as you are. You know what I'm saying? And when he said that, it also meant, like, wherever you at, too. He didn't just say you had to be in church to have church. You know what I'm saying? You could be in the bathroom. You could be in a
your
jail
car,
cell. It don't matter
anywhere.
where you at. That's why
Yes.
he said, come as you are. You know what I mean? Because we've been so programmed to think we got to be so fly or so pretty or so clean in man's eyes that we can't come to him until we clean up. But really, he part of the process of us cleaning up. You know,
He wants us to. He want us to come ragged. He wants you to come just as you are.
exactly.
You know, so he can clean you up. So
Yes.
hence the song "Happiness." Thank
All
God
right.
for
Wow.
Yes,
Yes.
and you know what? We will be playing his song once again. But first off, we would like to thank you all for coming on the show again. Yes. We appreciate you all for sharing with your journey. Yes. We also would love for you all to come back in future reference. Sure. Do you all have any upcoming events going on? Kind of tell the people where they can reach out to you all, okay. About your boxing, your music, anything.
Yeah, you can come. You can go over to ArthurJohnsonFoundation.org. Is it? Mm-hmm. So ArthurJohnsonFoundation.org. You can check on our page. That's where we show everything that we basically do with our program. My goodness, there's so much I can say, and I don't want to forget anything, but that always happens because it's so much bigger than me, right?
Yeah.
So because it is so much bigger than me, you seem to forget things from time, but
they can also call the center too,
yeah.
and leave a message for us, and we can get back with you. That's
618-857-2740.
Yeah.
All right now.
So can you give it to them one more time so they can hear you?
618-857-2740.
All right, all right.
And I was going to ask, how do you go about sponsoring a kid or even donating, to the organization?
Well, if you go on, again, ArthurJohnsonFoundation.org, right?
Or they can email us.
At, what is it, Arthur Johnson?
Arthur Johnson Foundation 2001 at gmail.com.
All right. Well, you all heard that.
Yeah.
We got to support each other, y'all.
Yes.
We can't keep complaining if we ain't pulling together.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Well, Mrs.
Okay, so that was Arthur Johnson Foundation
2001
at gmail. 2001. Okay.
2001 at gmail.com.
Yes.
Okay. And then also the number to call the center is 618-857-2740.
Yes.
Exactly.
You all heard it straight from what I said. Reach out, support. We have to learn how to support each other, but we also would love to thank you all once again. Yes. We appreciate you all for coming in to Why Not Said. We loved your journey. We appreciate you all letting us walk down your journey with you all. We also welcome you back. Mrs. Mink or Fastlane, do you all have any last regards before we go?
Yes. Fastlane, do you?
I just want to say I really, really appreciate this moment. You know what I mean? And I pray that everything continue on in Godspeed. You know what I mean? And, hey, stay blessed. And, hey, keep shining y'all light. You know what I mean? Keep shining that light.
Yes.
And what I would like to say is, on behalf of Why Not Say It, we will be making a donation towards the foundation. I'm going to look into, because as a part of our mission, as I stated, it's all about the youth and trying to get that message out there, because we need to save our youth. Absolutely. We need to save our youth. I mean, there are a lot of us adults that need to be saved too. However, our youth is, they're the ones that's coming up behind us. So we really need to save our youth. So I will be looking into that. And everything that we do is on behalf of our podcast. Why Not Say It? Because we're trying to reach the millions. We're trying to reach the billions. Hey, and we non-for-profit because we don't ask for donations. What we do is we do it, through our own. Right. And until it is that we can find that way where we can get those, profits or donations or whatever, so we can start doing more, a lot of it comes out of our pockets. Right. So it's not about that. It's about the children. So we will be, making a donation towards that and looking into.
Beautiful. And thank you guys. Thank you. It was definitely just beautiful being here, and we're excited about that. And this has probably been one of our greatest interviews that we've done.
All right, to God be the glory. To God be the glory. Yeah.
So we appreciate that, and thank you guys.
All right now.
And we'd love to have y'all back to just keep it going, just to keep the word going. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
As soon as possible.
Exactly.
Ready to come back. Almost like a progress report.
So once again, we have Mr. Arthur Johnson, Arthur Flash Johnson. He will be playing his song, Happiness.
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
happiness whether the sun is up or it's down. It's good to have happiness and let the world go round and around. It's good to have happiness whether the sun is up or it's down. It's good to have happiness and let the world go round and around. We must be careful not to let life pass us by. Enjoy the simplicity of life now and let it go. You know the things that get you down. Let it go, or you will go round and around. 'Cause life is good. It's not what you get, but what you can make it. Life is good. Life is good. It's not what you get, but what you can make it. Life is good. It's good to have happiness whether the sun is up or it's down. Said it's good, 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 good. Said it's good. Oh, said it's good, 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 good. Oh, it's good to have a happy day. It's good to have happiness. Said it's good, yeah. Said it's good, yeah. There is no question that life can get you down, but we must know there's power in our faith now, and let it go. All the things that get you down, or you will go round and around and around. 'Cause life is good. It's not what you get, but what you can make it. Life is good. Life is good. It's not what you get, but what you can make it. Life is good. Sha-da-da-da-da-da-da.